My heart skipped a beat as the power grid went down. The sudden darkness was overwhelming, and I couldn't help but panic. But as I looked around, I noticed that the lights were still on. Confused, I realized that the power had only gone out in my immediate vicinity. As a prepper, I knew that this was a warning sign. A reminder that we must always be prepared for a potential disaster, whether it be an EMP or a solar storm. The consequences of a long-term power outage could be catastrophic, lasting for months or even years. Watching a video about the importance of preparation, I knew that I had to take action. Without electricity, our modern way of life would come to a standstill. No lights, no phone, no heat. It was terrifying to think of how reliant we were on technology. Most people's furnaces wouldn't function without electricity, but I had the foresight to install a wood stove. However, even that wouldn't be enough. With a grid down, communication would be almost impossible. Cell phone service would be non-existent, and even if you did manage to connect, emergency services would have priority. As I watched the video, I realized that this was a wake-up call. We needed to be prepared for the worst-case scenario. We couldn't rely on technology to save us in times of crisis. We had to take matters into our own hands and be ready to fend for ourselves. The thought of being completely cut off from the world was overwhelming, but I knew that with the right preparations, we could survive. Telecommunication services may have the ability to function for weeks or months, but in the end, it's up to us to be ready for whatever comes our way. Imagine waking up one morning to find out that the power is out. You check your phone, and there's an urgent message from the government instructing you to prepare for an extended power outage. Panic sets in as you realize that you have no idea how long the power will be out or how you will survive without electricity. You remember hearing that your first priority as a prepper is to have a means of keeping your phone powered. You quickly start researching and find many ways to do so. One option is the Alcatel solar generator, which is small and efficient, perfect for charging your phone during an extended power outage. But as you think more about the situation, you realize that a generator might not be enough. What if the power is out for months, or even over a year, due to an EMP or solar storm? You need to conserve your resources, including gas or propane. Using your car to charge your phone is possible, but it's not a sustainable solution. You only have so much gas, and every bit of it is vital. It's best to invest in a solar generator or other renewable energy source, so you can keep your phone charged without relying on gas. You also realize that the lack of power will affect the water supply. Without electricity, pumps can't fill the water towers that supply your home. Gravity can keep water flowing for a short while, but eventually, the water supply will run out. It's important to stockpile water and other essential supplies so you can survive an extended power outage. You'll need at least a gallon of water per person per day, so start collecting and storing water as soon as possible. Preparing for an extended power outage is not easy, but it's necessary. Your survival depends on your ability to adapt to changing circumstances and make the best of the resources available to you. Remember, your phone may be the source the government uses to contact you for further instructions, so keeping it charged is one of the highest priorities. The thought of being without water for even a day is enough to make me anxious. But knowing that the bare minimum I need to prepare for is a 30-day supply has me feeling overwhelmed. My best bet seems to be buying one of those blue drums, but I can't help but wonder if that will even be enough. I'm starting to panic thinking about all the extra containers I should have been filling up, but instead they lay empty. Buckets, sinks, and bathtubs that could have been storing water, all neglected. I know I need to act fast before it's too late. But even if I have enough water, I need to worry about the wastewater and sewage. It's not just about water coming into my house, but also the water going out. The idea of contaminating local areas with human feces is terrifying, and I can't even imagine getting sick from it. I'm relieved to know that there are advanced filters that can remove pathogens, but I still feel overwhelmed by the thought of being without power for so long. The stress-related fatigue is already starting to set in, and it's only been a week. I can't even imagine how I'll feel if this blackout lasts any longer. It's a chilling thought, but one that needs to be acknowledged. The fact is, we are not ready for this scenario. We are not prepared for the chaos that will ensue when the stores run out of food, when the shelves are empty and the gas stations are closed down. We are not ready for the curfews and the overtaxed law enforcement. And to make matters worse, the only hygiene we have may be a few baby wipes or hand sanitizer rubbed across our body. It's not enough to keep us clean or healthy. We can't depend on the grocery stores or the gas stations to help us. They rely on the internet to do their transactions, and without power, they will be unable to provide us with the goods we need. Even if we find a store that will accept cash payments, the shelves will be empty. Grocery stores work on a just-in-time system, and they can't afford to let food go bad on their shelves. 3 to 4 days after the emergency strikes, all the food will be gone. And who's to blame? It's not the preppers, who have already stocked up on their food. It's the non-preppers who flood the stores, buying everything they can get their hands on, causing the stores to run out of food even faster. After a week, people are running out of food, and the massive crowds are storming the stores, looting everything they can find. The darkness envelopes us, and we are left vulnerable to the thieves and the chaos that follows. There are no street lights, no glow of security lights outside of businesses. Law enforcement is stretched thin, and even the National Guard will struggle to protect us. This scenario may seem like a nightmare, but it's a reality that we need to prepare for. We can't rely on others to help us in times of crisis. We need to take action and ensure that we have enough supplies to survive. It's up to us to be ready for anything that may come our way. It's a daunting thought, isn't it? The idea of being left to fend for yourself and your loved ones in a world without power, without order, without safety. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and powerless in the face of such an unimaginable scenario. But the truth is, you can't afford to be complacent. You can't afford to be unprepared. You need to arm yourself. You need to stock up on ammo and practice your tactical maneuvers. You need to be ready to protect yourself and your family, because when the time comes, no one else is going to do it for you. But it's not just about guns and bullets. You need to be prepared for the long haul. You need to have enough food, enough water, enough everything to last for over a year. And that's the bare minimum. The reality is that things could be much worse. Power plants will be out of fuel. Coal trains won't be getting coal. Gas pipelines will be down. Traffic lights will be out. And that's just the beginning. It's easy to say that you'll just bug out to the woods, but that's not a sustainable solution. You need to think about the bigger picture, about the larger ramifications of this disaster. You need to be ready to dig in and stay put. It's not going to be easy. Your heart will be racing, your adrenaline will be pumping, your hands will be shaking. But you need to practice now, so that when the time comes, you're ready. So listen to the experts. Take this seriously. Be ready for the worst. Because ultimately, it's up to you to protect your family.